Jay here for Stretford Paddock. That's Joe Smith. This is Paddock Live. You're getting 2 lives out of us this evening.
2 lives tonight.
2 for the price of 1. Do get involved in the comments and the chat and make sure you are subscribing to the channel.
Yes.
We want to get to 750,000 subscribers by the end of the season.
So doable.
We're going to be talking about the managerial sort of rumours, reports, stories doing the rounds. We spoke about it earlier when we went live with the Di Marzio story, so we'll get into that. We'll also talk about some of the potential successors to Erik ten Hag, if indeed he's leaving. Because let's be honest, we're not sure whether he is leaving after the FA Cup final. It's all a bit confusing.
There's hints and there's back and forth, isn't there, either way here, and we'll get into all of that. What's going on, what the rumours are, what the reports are, what people are saying behind the scenes, what's going on with Erik ten Hag. Because it seems to have swung from 3 or 4 days ago, seeming like he was going to be here next season, seeming like he was going to be certainly safe up until the FA Cup final. Now, all of a sudden, all of that seems to be up in the air. Things have gone on at Chelsea, things are going on behind the scenes at Ipswich and at Brighton as well. And now it looks as though Ten Hag's future is much more rocky than it seemed to be even just 3 or 4 days ago, doesn't it?
100%. Just before we crack on with the important Manchester United business, bit of breaking news. 7 minutes ago, Christian Falk, who we've had on the Tier 1 Transfer podcast, Mr. Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
We interviewed him on the Tier 1 podcast. He was at Bayern Munich's training ground with them training behind him as he did his interview with us. He's just tweeted, FC Bayern have reached a verbal agreement with Vincent Kompany. Now Bayern must find an agreement with Burnley. Kompany has contract till 2028, expected to be announced as the new manager in Munich by the end of the week. So I know it's not Manchester United news, but it's quite interesting that Bayern Munich have decided to go down the route of getting Vincent Kompany after having just been relegated with a relatively poor season with Burnley. He's still got enough credit in the bank with the powers that be at the Allianz Arena to get one of the best jobs in football.
The managerial scene in European football at the moment is shocking. It's terrible. It is, isn't it? I don't want to blame it all on City, but it feels like I don't even know what's going on.
No,
like everyone's shit. Is it just a reflection of how dominant City have been, and like when you go up against them, you lose and you look so bad that you have to sack it? Like Chelsea sacking their manager, obviously Liverpool losing their manager. Brighton, has he been sacked? Has he been poached? Has he left by mutual consent? No one knows. Bayern can't get a manager in, and they're asking everyone and their dog to be the new manager, and everyone's refusing for one reason or another. You sink low enough to the point where eventually you end up getting some bloke whose best achievement is getting a recently relegated Burnley back into the Premier League and immediately relegating them in one of the most pitiful attempts to stay up we've seen in recent seasons, except Sheffield United. And he's the new Bayern Munich manager, having done nothing of note, except, like I said, he turned around how Burnley play, which is not easy to do, but they spent a load of money in the summer and never even looked close to staying up, really.
No.
There was one point with about 6 games to go where they weren't too far off, but by the end it was sort of not even close. And he's the new Bayern Munich manager. United are looking for managers, and no offence to Kieran McKenna, we're going to get into all this in a bit more detail. The options are Zerbi, who's won fuck all and has been really poor with Brighton this season. Tuchel, who falls out with everyone, and he might win you a trophy, or he might give you your worst season in a decade.
Yeah.
Pochettino, who's won 1 trophy, maybe 2 trophies at PSG, having already lost the league with them once in that time as well. And Kieran McKenna, who's never managed a Premier League game. What is this? Where's all the managers gone?
I don't know, my brother. It is really, really weird, and it's odd that I don't get the Bayern Munich thing. A big club, also the chance to go there, and get them going again after they've had a poor season. It should be the perfect opportunity for so many managers. Yet every manager and his dog has turned it down, and they've now gone to the Championship, basically.
Well, no, not basically, literally.
Literally to the Championship.
Yeah.
To get a manager who's got no real history or connection to them, as far as I know. And it's like, why? What have you seen in Vincent Kompany that's made you think he's the man to turn this around? Yeah. He's the man that's going to get us going again. I don't really get it. Let's go into the first story then. Let's talk about Di Marzio. Yeah. Because get involved in the chat in the comments and hit that like button.
So we spoke about this before. Here we go. Erik 10 bags packed. Erik 10 Barg. That's poor, isn't it? Erik 10 Hag, Erik 10 Barg. Little suitcase there.
What's this effect that we're using? It looks like a very AI type thing.
Nice, actually.
Is there a style? Is there a particular style it's called?
Oh, no.
Right. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no! The way he said it is
like he'd just been caught.
Yeah, he went
with his trousers around his ankles, with a picture of his grandma in his hand.
Oh
right!
Oh no! Right,
Manchester United boss Erik Ten Hag is expected to leave Old Trafford in the summer. This is, I mean, I don't think. Oh, it does. Yeah, Gianluca Di Marzio said at the end of the season, Manchester United will say goodbye to Ten Hag. It is certain they will be saying goodbye to him. 3 candidates pointed out by Di Marzio are Kieran McKenna, Roberto De Zerbi and Mauricio Pochettino. There is a chance that McKenna could join Chelsea, and if that happens, Pochettino could become a prominent candidate for the Old Trafford hot seat. We spoke about this before. We were saying that you would think at some point throughout the night other journalists would go in on this. At the minute, he's the only journalist of any repute who's mentioned Ten Hag leaving with any sort of certainty. And he's not the sort of reliable kind of guru that he once was, but he's still a bloke with almost 2 million Twitter followers. He's still one of the most followed transfer journalists in the world. So him saying this, admittedly on an interview rather than on his own social media or his own publications, but he said this to another Dutch, web-based publication or newspaper. That's big. That is big that he said that. And still, between us doing the live at about 6 o'clock this afternoon and now, no one else has stood this up. No one has denied it. Repeated times people have asked Romano for his opinion, and he sort of spoke about United, said all things are on the table, he could stay, he could leave, sort of, no real update. It's bizarre to me that no one else has either A, got this, or B, denied this. It's a very weird situation at the minute, and this is just my opinion on how these things tend to go. It feels as though people are hearing things but aren't willing to say them. Because if they were hearing he was safe, if the club was saying to people that he's safe, we would have seen that tonight. That's my opinion. Obviously, that's just me putting 2 and 2 together. I may be getting 5. But I think if Ten Hag wasn't leaving Manchester United, someone at some point would have said, despite what you've heard, I'm still hearing the club are speaking positively. The club are looking forward under Ten Hag. You don't have to say he's here next season. Just a hint, a crumb of support for him, I would have thought would have come at some point tonight, and we haven't seen anything.
No, we haven't. And I wonder whether the certain people at the club who you would normally go to don't know themselves. Ineos are in here now. It's a new regime. We don't know. Yeah. We can't comment because we haven't been given any information one way or the other. I don't know what the situation is there. I mean, I was speaking to a journalist who I rate and who's he is ITK and has got a very, very good reputation indeed about it earlier, and he couldn't give me. He wasn't being coy. He was like, I don't know where he's getting that from. I don't. That's news to me, kind of thing. It could be true. I don't know. Was his sort of take on it. So it is a strange one. Yeah. It's strange for someone so prominent to come out with this in the way he's done it via a Dutch website. Yeah. Which isn't, and he's tweeted loads since then and not commented on it unless he's done it since I last checked. And no one of any sort of note in the journalism world whatsoever to say it's true or it isn't. Yeah. Like you said, Romano basically is not saying anything, just using a lot of words to say nothing, and other journalists ignoring it completely, acting like it's not happened. Yeah. Like one of the biggest names in football Twitter and football journalism. Because let's face fact, you can Google most journalists or go on Twitter and look at all the journalists you follow. Look at the main football journalists you follow and see how many of them have nearly 2 million followers. Other than Romano, none.
Yeah, Ornstein is the one in it.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Yeah, there's just it's not a thing where people have that much traction. The reason he's got that much traction, yes, he might have got some things wrong, but he got a lot right. Yeah, you don't get 2 million followers on Twitter just by making stuff up that is wrong. So it's really weird. I'm going to get into some comments. Yeah. Abhinav Verma, this is pathetic from the club if true, and it doesn't bode well for the environment for a coach. You don't fix recruitment and have divas as players. Richard Ellis says, good to see you guys have a mass debate about Erik Ten Hag. Nice. Ami Noor Rashid, Fabrizio was twerking, saying 50-50 shit. Yeah, I can tell you that, and I'm not Fabrizio Romano. Like, that's not news. No. It could go one way or the other. They could sack him, or they could keep him.
Ooh, nice.
Very
interesting.
Or a third way, he could walk.
He could walk.
Or
a fourth way, he could buy the club and keep himself. Less likely.
Yeah, but you never know.
Can't rule
you never know. I'll tell you one thing you do know about.
Go on.
And that is Manscaped have got you covered. They are the leaders in below-the-waist grooming technology, and they have taken a giant leap forward. Yes, it's one small step for man, one giant leap for Manscaped. Because,
very nice.
Thank you. They have got the performance package. Oh, was that a little?
No, that was a. Oh, no,
all right, okay, I'll say that from you. The performance package Ultra 5.0. Joseph, tell the man then what's going on.
I mean, it's when you think, how do I look after myself downstairs? Do I need to get this? What balms do I get? I'm looking at the shelves. What do I need? Is it this clipper? Is it that clipper? Do I need the... Manscaped have just got it all covered. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, it has literally all of those things in one. Don't go, I've got to go to this shop for that, I've got to go Amazon for this, I need to go to Boots for... There's none of that. Manscaped have it all sorted. You can see there, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. That is their latest clipper technology. 2 different clipper heads on it. It's got your traditional clipper for all the sort of round the garden, like a teddy bear stuff.
Yes.
But then if you want to get neat and nasty, as I like to call it, it's got the foil blade as well to get extra close in those tantalising areas. There's also the Crop Soother toner. There's also the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer.
I love the Weed Whacker 2.0.
Preserver ball deodorant, Jay.
I don't like it when our mutual friend uses his and leaves it on my desk.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. But he's using it.
Yeah, I mean, he is using it. Not naming any names, but, you know, he was in the army. That's what I'm going to say.
And also, with that, in the performance package, you get 2 free gifts as well. You get the Boxers 2.0, which are perfect 5-a-side for the gym. Now the weather's getting a bit warmer as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. And to seal it all off, the Shed 2.0 travel bag, Jay.
I love that travel
bag. It's just
bag.
all in one, sorted.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I pretend I'm one of the players coming off the coach?
Yeah.
With my little Shed travel bag and my thumbs up to the camera.
It's amazing.
It's great. I love it. I do it every day. Use the code Devils20. You got 20% off and free shipping. You get all that good stuff that Joseph mentioned. Make sure you check out the link in the description. Your balls will thank you. We're getting into summer, so you need to look after yourself down there. And a big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. We appreciate it.
And also, just on that, the other day I had to do a group shower with other men for the first time since I left school. And I felt so confident with Manscaped because I'd drawn I'd written a little love note in there for anyone.
Oh, had you?
Yeah.
Right. So where was this group shower?
It was at the Den in Millwall.
Oh, really?
After the game, I had to do a little shower. But I'd written, like what you see, boys, question mark.
Right. That was why you were getting all them rave reviews for your performance. I thought it was on the football pitch.
It's my performance package.
Yes, I should have known.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done, my brother, on your performance in that game as well. You smashed it.
Thank you.
Right, let's talk about some other.
So, if Ten Hag is to go,
managers.
Who are the candidates? Let's get into the first one. Maurice dancing with the devil.
I think this is underrated.
I don't know it.
Morris dancing.
Oh, shite.
Yeah, Maurizio, Morris dancing with the devil. I quite like it.
Yeah, it works.
Do you know what I love? That term, dance with the devil.
Yeah, it's good.
It's such a good...
The imagery is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really good.
I think it's a really good sort of term, so you get extra points for using that.
There you go.
And I'll give you that one.
You've tickled Jay's little...
Tickled my pun bone.
Oh, dear. Bloody hell. Right, trim that. What do you mean we're live? Pun bone.
You've made it seedy.
No, I haven't. Mauricio Pochettino is interested in talking to Man United if they decide to part ways with Erik Ten Hag. No way! Recently sacked manager for shitter club wants to get job at better club despite being sacked and shit. What a shock, Jay. Oh, right. Pochettino thinks he might fancy getting a promotion despite being sacked. What? Of course he does.
Me and you were talking about this, right? 2 years ago, he weren't the right man for the job. Since then, he's been worse than he was 2 years ago. This season, all right, he took a shambles of a Chelsea side to 6. They still lost lots of football matches and didn't win out. And it's like now he's going to be ready for the Manchester United job. Do you honestly think Mauricio Pochettino is going to help us catch the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City?
No.
Because I fucking don't.
He is the epitome of, we got him because he was about.
Yeah.
That's not a good reason. That's not joined up thinking. He will come in, he will probably stabilise us, and we will hit a peak of potentially 3rd or maybe 2nd place in the league at a push. I think he is as limited, and I don't mean to use this as a way to sort of diss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Poch has had a bigger career than Solskjaer, so the comparison wouldn't be particularly shameful on Solskjaer. But I think you would see some of those similar limitations where in big games, in big competitions, in cups especially, you can get so far, but that final push, I just don't think it would be there. And in the last few years, for me, his reputation's come right down. Since he left Tottenham, he went to PSG, didn't win the league, despite them always winning the league, and I think they were top or joint top when he arrived. He won the league the year after, but didn't do much in Europe, hasn't done much since. This would just be like a backward step completely. There's no point in this.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But Plata says Pochettino didn't lose the league. Tuchel did with PSG. That's why he got the job in the first place. That league was there to be won by the time Pochettino took over.
Weren't they like 2 points off the top or like level?
It wasn't like it was May and there was 7 points behind.
No.
The league was very much doable. And look at the players he had at his disposal, and he still didn't do it. So I'm not buying into that one, I'm afraid, my brother. Burnside is back. Says -1 goal difference. 8th. I'm not crying into my cornflakes. More annoyed we seem to be tossing off an FA Cup. Should have done this 3 weeks ago and put an interim in for the final. I'm a bit annoyed that this is coming out before the FA Cup final. I've talked about this before. It's the worst preparation going into a final, having a manager who has rumours that he's already done hanging over him. It's just not great. We kind of got away with it a little bit with Louis van Gaal, but we weren't facing Manchester City. When we did it with Louis van Gaal, we were facing Crystal Palace, who were very much beatable. Let's move on, because we've got to power through these.
Let's go to our next one.
McKenna, stay. Don't Ipswich club. Don't what?
Can you stay? Don't switch clubs is kind of the gist. McKenna stay, which for some reason is making me think more of the country Kenya than it is Kieran McKenna.
And also, I thought this was something to do with your IP address.
Yeah, that's one of those VPN services.
Yeah,
I genuinely think IP Switch is the name of a sort of a VPN that I think I've got a free trial to. So I don't know what that's all about.
You want to watch the match when you're abroad, you need IP Switch.
Yeah, you do. Ipswich manager Kieran McKenna is likely to reject any new deal amid interest from Chelsea and Brighton. So this is from BBC Sport. Just to add to this before we read it, there's also been reports of United being keen on him and him being potentially keen on Manchester United as well. So it says the 38-year-old is also believed to be under consideration by United. If I'd just read it first before I said it, I could have got the information out more succinctly. Sorry, Ethan. Is under consideration by United if we decide to make a change with Ten Hag's future in doubt. McKenna, who is contracted to Ipswich until 2027, is ambitious and is understood to be keen to take the next step in his career. Talks with Ipswich are likely to take place this week, and the Tractor Boys are expected to offer McKenna a new deal to convince him to stay at Portman Road. Negotiations are expected to fail with the manager and assistant Martin Pert, feeling the time is right to move. Any club will need to pay at least £4 million compensation to take McKenna and Pert.
McKenna and Pert, that sounds like a real sort of, quirky detective show from the 60s.
Yeah, it does.
McKenna and Pert.
Well, and it's adapted from an old novel as well, isn't it? Definitely. A series of novels in the late 1800s. The Tractor Boys, certainly making an argument for the shittest nickname in the Football League, isn't it?
The Tractor Boys.
It's so bad.
There's so many clubs, though, that have shit nicknames.
Yeah.
Like the Shrimpers and that.
The Shrimpers is bad. Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Even like the Cherries.
The Cherries is
like,
bad.
Let's face facts. That's shit. No disrespect to the people of Bournemouth, but
it couldn't be
the
less
Cherries,
intimidating, could it?
Like, you want it? You want to mess with the Cherries, do you?
Cherries.
I'll fucking carve you up, sunshine.
Yeah. Cherries is no good.
That's rubbish.
The Cottagers. Actually, yeah. Now we don't talk about it. Tractor Boys is pretty good. Kieran McKenna, I do want to talk about him quickly. For me,
quickly, because we need to move up.
And I don't
move on. Sorry.
I at least see why you might go for McKenna. The rest of the options that we've seen, other than De Zerbi, I know he's never been truly tested at the top level, but I feel like Pochettino is a known quantity. He's not going to take you from where we are now to winning trophies. He's another stepping stone manager, and I'm sick of them. Thomas Tuchel, he might, take you to a Champions League, but you can't just rely on him to do that every time he manages a shit team. That's unlikely. Andy falls out with everyone along the way. I think that De Zerbi, another one, he doesn't stay at clubs very long. It worries me. Kieran McKenna supposedly is a Manchester United fan growing up. He's been at the club already. He sort of knows the situation. There are a lot of downsides. He's been sacked once by Man United already when he left with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's never won any major trophies. He's never managed in the Premier League. But at least it feels like you're trying something new. You're trying to get a new manager who's on the up, who hopefully someone's spoken to him and knows that he's got good tactics, good philosophies, all of these sorts of things. He seems like an exciting option at least. The rest of them don't excite me at all, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I get that. I get there's a feeling like these managers have failed, they've not done what they should have done, they're in decline, we're sort of getting them because they're available. Whereas at least with McKenna, you don't know how good he could be.
Yeah.
With the others, you know they ain't that good.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
Yeah, I
agree. That's my feeling on it. We are going to wrap up. I've just put a link in the chat, by the way. Forgive me. But you know me, Joseph, I'm a man who likes to give back to the community.
Before we... Oh, sorry, go first.
There's a link in the chat I've just put in. It's Help Out the Boom Centre, a homeless charity. If you donate to help them, your donation will be matched. And they're doing a big campaign to try and help homelessness in Manchester. It's a subject close to my heart, so there's a link in the chat there. Anyone, I know time's around, if you can help out, please do.
Great cause. Before we go, can we just quickly look at this Dan Ashworth story?
Yeah.
We've just got a couple of minutes. Oh, God.
Leaky bum time. Class.
That's what I text my girlfriend probably twice a month when I've had too much spicy food.
Right, okay.
She said, where have you been? You've been upstairs for 20 minutes. And I just text those 3 words back and a picture of me like that.
Just quickly, Alex Smith said, we'd love to know if you guys had to say yes or no to the leaks right now, what would it be? Hope the instability up the Paddock. I'd say no. I want to see Erik Ten Hag stay.
Yeah, I want to see him stay as well. So just on this, very quickly, basically, there seems to be some leaked emails that show that Dan Ashworth was being tapped up in February before he was put on gardening leave. That basically United have sort of snuck in there, tapped him up, tried to get him over to come to Man United, and that this could be potentially some issue. However, this also reports tonight that Dan Ashworth sort of claimed that this is going to go through a court, isn't it, potentially? And his defence is going to base around the fact that Newcastle put him on gardening leave before he'd asked to leave, which supposedly isn't allowed.
Right, okay.
So this is all kind of linked together. Barada and Ashworth have been sending emails back and forth when they shouldn't have been. However, Newcastle potentially have put him on gardening leave too soon. That's basically the story here. It's one of those. It's above. Who cares?
We'll see what happens.
Let's just wait and see.
I mean, for fuck's sake, 3 words, burn a phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a grip right. Listen, big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. Big thank you to everyone who got involved in the chat, including Matty H, who said hit like, and everyone who's been supporting the channel. We're going to be back in the morning with the news, and then we're going to have Off the Bar with me, Joe, Adam McCullough, and Stephen Alson. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Motti. This has been Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.